Jacob Fatu and Zilla shock Raw. Zilla Fatu appears on Raw. Bloodline chaos just got worse. Secret Raw moment explained. WWE drops silent bombshell. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. What if I told you the most shocking moment on Raw didn't happen in the ring, didn't involve a title, didn't even come with commentary screaming over it, but instead slipped in quietly backstage like something WWE almost didn't want you to notice? And what if that one quiet moment just introduced a name that could completely flip the balance of power inside the bloodline without anyone saying a single word? So let's really slow this down and walk through it properly, because this wasn't just a cameo, and it definitely wasn't random. Raw is rolling like any other week, the crowd is loud, matches are happening, commentary is doing its thing, and everything feels normal on the surface, but if you've watched WWE long enough, you know that normal episodes are usually the ones hiding something big underneath. It's like when nothing crazy is happening in front of you, that's exactly when you should start paying more attention to what's going on in the background. Then we cut backstage, and it's not even dramatic. No music hits, no camera shake, no over-the-top production. Just a hallway, a camera, and then Jacob Fatu walks into frame like he's not even trying to be noticed, which somehow makes it even more noticeable. And right away, that alone is enough to make fans sit up a little straighter because Jacob Fatu isn't just another name walking around backstage. This is someone whose presence already feels like a problem waiting to happen. He doesn't move like someone trying to impress management, he moves like someone who already knows he belongs there and doesn't need permission from anyone. But here's where it gets interesting, and I mean really interesting, because if it was just Jacob Fatu, people would talk, sure, but it would still feel somewhat expected. You'd think, okay, maybe he's being brought in slowly, maybe they're testing reactions, maybe this is step one. But then the camera lingers just a little bit longer, just enough for you to notice there's someone behind him, walking at the same pace, calm, quiet, almost too calm for someone stepping into a WWE backstage environment for the first time. And then it clicks. That's Zilla Fatu. Now you know that moment when your brain takes a second to catch up with what your eyes just saw, like you're not fully sure if you actually saw it or if your mind filled in the gap? That's exactly what happened to a lot of fans watching this. People rewound it, paused it, zoomed in, asked their friends, jumped online, because it didn't feel real at first. There was no announcement, no welcome to WWE, no commentary pointing it out. It just happened, and somehow that made it feel 10 times bigger. Because when WWE wants you to see something but doesn't explain it, that's when you know it means something. They didn't treat this like a debut, they treated it like a secret that slipped out on purpose, and those are usually the moments that grow into something much bigger over time. Now look at how both of them carried themselves in that scene, because this is where the storytelling really starts to show. Jacob Fatu walks like someone who's already dangerous, like the kind of guy you don't approach unless you absolutely have to. No wasted movement, no unnecessary reactions, just focused energy, like he's already thinking 3 steps ahead. And then there's Zilla, and this is what makes the whole thing feel different. He's not trying to match Jacob's intensity in an obvious way, he's quieter, more observant, almost like he's studying the environment instead of reacting to it. And honestly, that contrast is what makes it work. You've got one guy who feels like immediate chaos and another who feels like controlled potential. It's like watching the beginning of something that hasn't fully revealed itself yet, and that's where the mystery comes in. Now here's the part where things start getting messy, because you have to ask the question nobody on screen is asking yet. Why now? Out of all the times to introduce Zilla Fatu, why do it when the bloodline is already walking on thin ice? Roman Reigns isn't exactly in a position where everything is stable, Solo Sikoa has been stepping into a more dominant role whether people want to admit it or not, and the Usos, well, let's just say peace has never really been their long-term plan. So adding Jacob Fatu into that mix already feels like you're stirring something up, but bringing Zilla along with him quietly, without explanation, that feels like you're setting up something deeper. And you can feel it, even if nothing has exploded yet. It's like putting extra pieces on a chessboard when the game is already halfway through. Every move becomes more complicated, every alliance becomes more fragile, and suddenly nobody's position feels completely secure anymore. Let's be honest for a second, Jacob Fatu doesn't come across like someone who's interested in playing second to anybody. That's just not the energy he gives off. He doesn't walk into a situation looking for instructions, he walks in like he's already got his own plan. So if he's entering the Bloodline orbit, the real question isn't whether he fits in, it's whether he changes it completely. And then there's Zilla, and this is where it gets even more unpredictable, because we don't actually know what his role is yet. Is he there to support Jacob? Is he there to learn, to grow, to eventually step into something bigger? Or is he part of a longer plan that hasn't even started unfolding on screen yet? Because WWE loves doing this thing where they introduce someone quietly, let fans speculate, and then weeks later, boom, everything connects and suddenly that small moment becomes the origin point of something massive. And if you've been watching long enough, you know they're very patient when they want to be. They'll let a story breathe, let fans argue about it, let theories build up, and then they'll strike when the timing is perfect. Now imagine this for a second, and I'm not saying this is exactly what's going to happen, but just think about it. What if the bloodline doesn't just split? What if it evolves into something more complicated, something with layers, where different members start pulling in different directions? You've got Roman representing legacy and control, Solo stepping into power in his own way, and now Jacob Fatu entering like a wildcard who doesn't owe loyalty in the same way, with Zilla right there beside him as this quiet unknown factor. That's not a stable group anymore, that's a situation waiting to explode. And the wildest part is that it all started with a moment that didn't even last that long. No promo, no fight, no big reveal, just a walk through a hallway that somehow said more than a 10-minute segment ever could. And you already know how this works, the next time Jacob Fatu shows up, people are going to watch everything he does more closely. Who he stands next to, who he avoids, who he acknowledges, all of it is going to matter. And if Zilla appears again, even for a few seconds, fans are going to be analyzing every detail like it's a clue in a mystery movie. That's when you know WWE has people hooked, when the smallest moments start feeling important. And real quick, if you're enjoying this kind of breakdown, where we dig into the small details that most people miss and turn them into full stories, go ahead and drop a like on the video, it really helps more people find this, and if you haven't already, subscribe because if this storyline keeps building the way it feels like it might, you're going to want to be here when everything starts connecting. Now back to the fans, because their reaction is a huge part of why this moment matters so much. This wasn't just a quick "oh that's cool and move on" type of situation. People were confused, excited, skeptical, all at the same time. Some fans immediately started fantasy booking future matches and alliances, others were questioning whether this was an official move or just a tease, and then you had those deep dive fans who started pulling up past interviews, family connections, and trying to piece together how long this might have been planned. And when you get that level of reaction from such a short segment, that's when you know something clicked. Because wrestling at its best isn't just about what happens on screen, it's about what people think is going to happen next. It's about that feeling of uncertainty, that sense that anything could change at any moment. And right now, that's exactly what this feels like. It doesn't feel random, it doesn't feel accidental, it feels placed, calculated, intentional in a way that suggests there's already a bigger picture in mind. It's like WWE quietly opened a door and let us peek inside for a second, but didn't let us walk through it yet. So now we're all just standing here, wondering what's on the other side. And that's the fun part. Because whether this turns into a full-blown bloodline shakeup, a power struggle, or something nobody's even predicted yet, one thing is clear, that backstage moment mattered. It changed the conversation, it shifted the energy, and it gave fans something new to think about in a storyline that already had a lot going on. So now I've got to ask you, do you think Jacob Fatu is stepping into this to support what's already there, or do you think he's walking in to take something for himself? And what about Zilla, is he just there for now, or is he going to become a major piece of whatever comes next? Let me know in the comments. I actually want to hear your take on this because there are so many ways this could go, and honestly, that's what makes it exciting. And yeah, if this builds the way it feels like it could, we might be looking back at this exact moment weeks from now and saying, that's where everything started. Thanks for watching, I appreciate you sticking with me through all of this, and I'll catch you in the next one.